Welcome to the only source for topics and toy news. This is Gen Z Report. Joining us live, the ultimate Marvel Legends and comic collector. He's got the power of youth. He's got the stories. It's Ashwan. Next up, the master of SH figure arts. His collection is legendary, his knowledge unrivaled. Say hello to Zion. And leading the charge, the one and only, the fearless McFarlane apologist and the agent who never sleeps. It's Agent Zman. The Gen Z Report. Your weekly dose of awesome starts now.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Gen Z Report, your weekly host of awesome topics and toy news. I am your host, Agent Z-Man, but of course, I don't do this alone. I'm always joined by my lovely co-hosts, but of course, let's introduce them one by one. So now, we here have Ashwan.
Hello, you beautiful people on a Friday afternoon today, but thank you for being here.
There you go. And we are waiting for Zion because I think he got kicked out. But here we go. Here he is. It's Zion.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Welcome. So yeah, today's topic is very light. We're going to be doing toy news, but of course the main topic is Supergirl discussion. As you know, it's been a while now since the movie's come out. We can finally talk. We'll do like a non-spoiler talk and then spoiler talk, just so if you still haven't watched it, first off, go watch it? Question mark. And then check back. Like if you wanted to not like to skip that part, then come out, then come back. But it is what it is. But of course, what we usually do here is we do our pickups, but we'll start from Z to A this day. So Zion, give us your pickups.
Other than my Invisible Woman, then that's it.
Show her up. We need to see the detail,
Yeah.
Oh, and like the articulation, Damn. It's definitely not. It's definitely not the Marvel Rivals one, right? Because you can.
Oh.
Well, thank you for your lovely pickup. Now, Ashwan, the king. Show us what you got.
Well, of course. So if you want to see most of my comics, because I show a couple on here, go to my YouTube. I post every week. I post my comic videos. I post, of course, everything I get on that Wednesday, which is comic book day. But other than that, if I get anything else on the week, it will be on here, and hence why I'm going to show off these two. First one up. So I got a variant for Amazing Spider-Man issue 31. I can't remember the artist on it, but it's a cool variant. So pretty cool. Just saw that. I think it's a 1 in 25. So basically, just whatever comic book shop it is has to order in 25 issues of 31. It's 25 of 31. Then they get this after they buy 25, kind of thing. So kind of cool. So it's a bit more pricier than a normal issue, but looks cool. And then one thing I did buy as well. So I like to buy a trade every week. And even though this is a volume 3, I'm getting volume 1 next week. But I just wanted to get it because it was on the shelf and I just wanted to have it. So when I want me to get to it, I have it. But it's Ultimate Spider-Man volume 3. So, and this is from 28 to 39 of Ultimate Spider-Man. So yeah, very excited to give that a read. But of course, like I said, get Volume 1 next week, so you'll probably see that next week. But to get into figure pickups, so I'll go with like what I got first. So here in like Norwich, we have a toy fair kind of like little thing, which in demand like set up, but it's at some like hotel that's not too far from mine, and just they set it up and they have like there's all like independent vendors. It's not really that big, but I tend to go there every time. It's normally like twice a year, so not too many, and they're like fairly spaced out. So it was last week, and the next one's in like November or something. So it's fairly spaced out, so you can prepare for it. And I somewhat did. But so I went around. I normally when I go to these places, I don't really tend to get too much, or if I do, funnily enough, I tend to buy from in demand. And so it's kind of a funny thing because I'm going to this place, and even though the shop I can just go to, but sometimes they have stuff there which they don't have in the shop, and so it's kind of a thing like that. But I saw this table, and they had a load of Marvel Legends, and I managed to get a Caliban builder figure for £20.
Woo!
So very good. I thought I saw him there, and he was 20 quid, and I thought, right, I need to get him because I've got the made to order Apocalypse coming.
So you want to
I'm
get
going to put him with him as like one of his horsemen, and at some point, I don't know when, but I am going to get the 97 Archangel, so maybe expect that at some point.
Yeah.
But I will get the Archangel to go with it as well, but got him. And then I know that some people within the community make these, but I just saw them there and thought I kind of wanted to get them. They were decently priced, and it was kind of just a spur of the moment, wanted to get them, even though I know that, like I said, people within the community, I could have maybe asked people, but I just saw them there, wanted to buy them, thought they were pretty cool. I got some 3D printed signs. Got Marvel Comics one, because of course, Ashwan 2 Comics, Marvel Comics is where it's at. So, got that. And then I got this cool X-Men 97 one as well.
Nice.
And so, you know what that means? X-Men 97 display incoming.
Ooh.
So, big thing coming. But managed to get them pretty good. And then the last pickup from the toy fair, and then I'll go into another figure. It's kind of weird, and when you see it, you'll be like, "Oh, why are you buying another toy line?" But I won it, so I didn't like actually purchase it. Basically, in the UK, we have these things at like fairs and fates and stuff. I can't remember the actual name for it. I can't remember whether because I got a couple like names in my head that I think of it being. But basically, just a bucket of tickets. You put them out, and if it's a number ended in a 5 or a 0, you then win a prize, kind of thing.
Oh, like a raffle.
Because there was like a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of like figures and stuff, and funnily enough, I won a Transformers. So kind of cool. I now have a Transformer. I don't know like what to do with it, but he's gonna sit somewhere lurking in the background. But I'm not delving into Transformers. So if anyone in the chat thinks that, oh, Ashwan, what are you doing getting into another toy line? I'm not getting into Transformers, trust me. I just have this one figure, and that's where I'm drawing the line.
Not yet.
But and then the last figure pickup, and the last pickup for me this week. I mean, I might do, but it looks kind of. One of them looks kind of funny because he just looks like a disc. So I might just keep him as some weird looking disc. I don't know. But the last pickup, and I know that some people may have this, some people might not, but I got mine in. I got the One Last Kill Punisher with the sexy skinny jeans.
I know. Shout out. Oh, he didn't like those, so he switched. Like I think he's put the head on this on the old the Devil Born Again, and like switched the hands and that stuff. So he's made a good kit bash, if you will.
I may I may at some point buy another one and maybe do something with it.
Mhm.
But I don't mind it too much. Of course, the skinny jeans are a bit odd, and this isn't really his outfit in
Mm.
the special, and so it's kind of annoying because, but at the same time, like sometimes, like because I pre-ordered all three of the Deadpool and Wolverine figures, two of them are concept art, and so for me it doesn't bother me as much, but it does look kind of cool. It's if the same price, if not cheaper than the other one, and you get way more stuff. So
Yeah.
if you want a
Yeah.
Punisher, then I would get it if I were you. But very happy with this one. But that's all for me this week.
Awesome. Quickly, while we before I go to my pickups, we have people in the chat. We got Virtual Dave in very early in there. Good evening, lads. Good evening. Wish him a speedy recovery as he's not feeling well, but glad that he's here. And he had a crazy haul, but also it came at a cost. But you find out from him. Check him out on Instagram, so make sure you do that. Yep. Love the early Ultimate Spider-Man artwork. Yeah. It's one of the great stuff. Like from Ultimate Spider-Man, the original Ultimate Spider-Man, not new one. And then we had Dan Who Reviews saying, I'm fed up of hearing about how easy it is for Ashwan to visit in demand toys. Yes, it is very jealous. Like you are like very close there. Whereas like I mean for me it's I'm in London, so I'm never going to be able to go there unless I do a weird trip. But I can't imagine how far it is for Dad because he's in what, like, I don't know where he's based, so might be a long drive for him.
Isn't it like Coventry?
Possibly, yeah. So, I mean, he could do a Toys and Toyota kind of situation and go take a trip to Indemar Toys. And he says, damn you, or in this case, debut. But we did have Alexi, your boy's got toys here. 20 is a steal for any bath. And you know, everyone's agreeing. Dad was saying transform it, clear his name. Andrew again, yes, Transformers. I mean, Andrew's, Transformers, like, I don't know what his display looks like, but I know he's got a lot. But yeah, I'm not sure if that's a retro one or if it's the like legacy but repackaged. I don't know. And finally, Alexi going, a weird looking disc. It's probably a CD. Well, there you go. So thank you, Ashwan, for your lovely pickups. And now it's my turn. Well, I can't top that, but I've just got one thing. So this finally arrived, and I finally have the blue ninjas from G.I. Joe Classified, the 2-pack of these two. And I was able to get this for 30 £30. So not too bad because it's an older, I wouldn't say older, but it is one of those old sets. But there you go. That's me. They're very simple. But now we've finished pickups. It's time for toy news or toy news highlight, really. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. And now, this one was a very interesting reveal this week, as we had the reveal of the Hasbro Scooby-Doo X Transformers, Mysterious Prime, and Autobot. Oh boy.
Fitting with Ashwan's pickup Transformers.
Exactly. We didn't even plan it, and like, boom. Somehow there was a clue, and we figured it out. As the mystery crew would. So, off the bat, it's clearly like a reuse body of Ironhide, I presume, from my Transformer knowledge. And Scooby, or as they're calling it, Autobot, is a like cassette card. Like usually it's like the base body of a cassette card. So I assume you could fit this in Soundwave's chest if you want him to be filled up with Scooby snacks. Hey, we could all do that. But of course, this offering from Transformers, so it's another collab that they've done, or because they've done so many. They've done Star Wars, they've done X-Men. They've done Sonic. Who knows? Maybe they'll do a Batman. Who knows? Who knows? But you might be wondering why are there like, these heads here? Well, they all pop on so that you could make different looks for your Transformer figure. So, like, clearly one that's like Daphne inspired, although very, very Hot Rod esque, if I do say so. And it comes with a camera and like a microphone, like, announcer thing. Then, obviously, with the Freddy head with the ascot, not the scarf. And, like, that's how the Scooby stack looks. So, I mean, it looks good like that, but then, like, it's just so weird. And then there's the Velma head. There's the Shaggy head, and with the camera. And yeah, obviously it turns into the Mystery Machine. But yeah, what an odd crossover. Like, I mean, I get it, but like here it looks fine. But my gosh, that Scooby just looks very scared. But also, it's the case that we got Scooby here before Jada gave us Scooby. So Transformers beat you, Jada. How do you feel about that? One of the things I think about these heads is that the ports on their how they port is similar to the Titans Return stuff. So I'm assuming if you found bodies that had similar color schemes, maybe you could use those heads for that. Who knows? But I've been course corrected. Virtual Dave says it's brand new, it's not reused, and they did swappable heads with the Turtle fan crossovers. Yep. Well, the Turtle one was more like a head cap replacement rather than like a full head. But yeah, my bad. I mean, technically, it is kinda. I don't know. Alexi here. All right, gang, time to transform and look for clues. Bone crunching sounds. So, what do you guys think of this reveal? Are you copying this this collab, or is this collab taking an L?
This is a very odd collab, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect, like, out of all things, Scooby-Doo and Transformers to do a collaboration. But for me, it'll be a pass.
Fair enough. And Ashwan?
Yeah, like Zion said, such a weird collab to come out. Like when it's not transformed, it looks decent, but it's just such an odd collab. Like, of course, Scooby doesn't help, and like I won't be getting it anytime soon because I haven't got the Jada stuff. And if I wanted Scooby Doo stuff, I'd get the Jada stuff, even though they're taking a fair bit to actually put out stuff and only put out one wave. But at the end of the day, I'm like Scooby Doo wise, I'm only gonna buy that stuff. I'm not gonna buy anything else. And definitely not this.
Fair enough. And Andrew here, where is the Tron and Transformers crossover? Oh, I think that's too much of a sore spot for Hasbro. I mean, it would be cool for a light cycle Transformer. That would be cool because it makes sense. It's a vehicle, and like with that kind of knowledge, you think, oh yeah, this kind of makes sense because the Mystery Machine is the big component. But then when you tie it with a weird Scooby Transformer, like you could have made him a beast, like Beast Former at least. But then I think that would have been weird because you would have like the like body part of Scooby attached to a robot. Ugh. Ugh. Anyway, I'm tempted on this just because it looks fun, but check back in a bit and see if I get it. Who knows? But from that, we go to the third party realm, and we go straight in here with some prototype shots from I think it was the Display App Model Expo, and this is from UP Fine Figures or Fine Goods or UPF PZZ, whatever. Remember that company that were like, oh, we're gonna do Hush Batman, but apparently they're giving us Absolute Batman. So here we've got him with his sort of like, it seems like they're doing the battle axe form, but you've also got like the mask and like chainsaw variant as well. So I mean, these figures usually come with a lot of accessories, and maybe that stand as well could be included. So you got that. Then you got the Batman Robert Pattinson figure. It's all right. Then it seems like, this is the Arkham Knight Batman Beyond figure that they've been prototyping for some time. But it seems like the cape, how they're going to be doing it, is a cloth goods cape, but with wires and everything. So I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see how that works. Then we have a Batfleck Batman from Dawn of Justice, if you like that. Then we have another Absolute Batman figure, but this time it's Catwoman. So it seems like that base is definitely going to be a thing that's going to be included. And she looks like she's going to come with the gun and blast effects. I love that. Like was it like twip, twip, twip or something like that? Kind of like onomatopoeia. And then we have a more, refined look at the upcoming Batman Hush from them, because everyone loves Batman Hush, and so look at all the glory. So got the heads, got the different masks, proper gargoyle situation. So this comes with everything, and the Batarang throw effect, which looks insane. And then finally, we get a closer look at the Superman for the Batman Hush line that they'll be doing. Still grayscale sort of situation, but at least now we've got a full idea of what the articulation will look like. Less Reveltech, more of their unique style, so that's pretty good. I hope it comes with a smiling head, though, because, the Hush one didn't come with that. But we do go to the realm of, I believe this is the Arkham Knight version of Azrael. So seems like we're going to be getting him in figure form. Interesting. Then Boo Justice League, the movie Tactical Suit Batman. Then Arkham Knight Red Hood with an unmasked head, which is pretty decent. And then we have an Arkham City Batman figure, which is definitely interesting because we haven't had an Arkham, city figure done in like a more modern articulation version. So I'm pretty happy to see that. And then last but not least, we have the Arkham Knight Nightwing. So it seems like, similar to, I can't remember, there's another company that have done Arkham Knight Nightwing. Oh, Reveltech. So seems like they're also going to be like, let's try and build up this Arkham Knight roster. But it seems like they're also going Arkham City as well. So interesting. But yeah, those were the reveals from there. What do you guys think? Are any of these tempting? Because I know some of them might be, especially with the Absolute Batman here. So what do you guys think?
So the Absolute Batman, I might keep an eye on this, but then I might wait until, because we have the other Absolute Batman that got revealed like a couple months ago, so I might keep on like both of these. And then for the Arkham stuff, that's the one that I'm really interested in to see like the full color, see how they look like and how they turn out, because it's Arkham City and Arkham Knight.
Definitely, like it's going to be an interesting thing because I don't know if the scale is going to be like, I mean, it's all going to be similar scale to what they've done, but then again, I think the Batman Arkham Origins figure was a bit taller then, but they're still decent figures, bit spinny, but it's like if you want your definitive version of them, these look like the way. What about you, Ashwan? Are any of these piquing your interest?
For me, of course, the Absolute Batman, Absolute Catwoman. Like, funnily enough, I mean, I'm fully caught up with Absolute Batman except the issue that came out this week. Cause we got Absolute Batman issue 22 came out this week, and Absolute Catwoman issue came out this week. Got shown off because both of them got issues this week, and like it's just with Absolute Batman, of course, it's gonna get pumped out full of stuff. Like Zion was saying, there's already revealed. Like I know Blocky's got one coming up. I know that apparently McFarlane one, which I probably won't buy. But they have one if you want it. But like, it's just because of how big DC is at the moment with this whole Absolute. You're gonna keep getting figures pumped out for it. And so I'm definitely going to keep an eye on these just to see what the price point are on them, where they actually go a bit deeper within the line, if they actually keep it. And then the other things more so because like some of the other stuff does look kind of cool. But I'd say just the only things for me personally would be the Hush stuff. But of course, you've got the whole like Mayfix things. And I still just don't know whether to backtrack on the Mayfix or like look at mine like this. I'm still just I'm 50 with whether to get Hush stuff or not. But mostly when it comes to some of this stuff, I know as much as I love that Robert Pattinson film, just I don't know whether I'm gonna delve into live action DC stuff, just a whole another ballpark and a whole another deeper like line I'm gonna have to go into, and so I'll try to keep it comic. And also, if you've got Absolute stuff and like you can have Hush and Absolute as like I could have it as one cube if I wanted to. But yeah, they look awesome though, and to be honest, I just hope we get more out of it because Absolute Batman sells so much that people are going to buy these instantly probably. So
yeah, and it seems like that Catwoman is going to come with the unmasked head. So, oh boy. Let's just say that's going to be an amazing thing. I mean, I think they've done Catwoman from the Dark Knight Rises film, so it's like that figure was amazing. So, you know, especially when it's comic stuff, they don't have to do likeness. So it's like, I mean, I don't know if they have to pay likeness fee or whatever with those kind of situations because it is a third party. So it's like, But yeah, my big interest is this Arkham City one because this looks like the definitive Batman Arkham City figure that will be released until like I don't know Mattel tries it because we still don't know what scale will these like the Mattel line will go into. Will it do Gamerverse stuff? Will it do movie stuff? Who knows? Like you mentioning about movie stuff, I think for me, like I did get the McFarlane the Batman stuff, but I'm just like, they don't. It's McFarlane. So they're just like, they kind of like. But the ones that I do have is like the Fonjoy Superman, and that one is very, that one's really good, and they've done a redeco of that, which looks even better. So it's like, but again, it's like they've only done that. They haven't even done Justice Gang. But yeah, interesting reveals, and like I think the Hush Batman looks amazing, and I'm tempted on him. I don't know because I have the Hush Mayfex one, so I'm like, and I know Zion, you have the CT Toys one, so it's like you don't need to necessarily get the like another version of it. So it's like But shout out to Spaded One McDysentery. I think I did it right. The Scooby is straight up a 90s McDonald's X Transformers Happy Meal toy. That brings me back because Happy Meal toys, they ain't like it used to be. Oh, we seen the Spider-Man ones? They're just backpacks. What the heck? What? But we're not collecting those anymore. Virtual Dave, I only believe in Todd's Batman figures. Look at that. Where are the giant pins? And like mentioned before, we will be getting a absolute Batman figure from McFarlane. I bet it will be he will reveal it at San Diego Comic-Con as that is fast approaching. but we've already seen the leaked image of like a variant of it where he's got the like gas mask look. So it's like at least he's doing it, but he's also doing the Trinity of the Absolute Universe. So he's doing it quicker than others, I guess. Alexi, definitely interested in the Absolute stuff. They should have done something other than Hush, like Nightfall. Absolutely agree on that because Hush has done way too much. And then, of course, Andrew says, yeah, them Absolute figures do look good. Yeah, there you go. We'll see when they're fully painted up because right now it's just grayscale. So looking forward to that. But from this version of Absolute Batman, or this offering rather, we go to another company that is offering Absolute Batman figures, but also other DC stuff. And we go straight to Blockies, where we get another still grayscale look for the Absolute Batman figure that they'll be doing, but we do get to see more of the loadout from here. Although there's some stuff that's mixed with the other two figures that are above there. But looking at this Batman, oh boy, the cape looks immaculate, like crazy spread out. It's not going to be bendy wire, but hey, you know, I don't think that's going to be a problem with this because you can move it. It's a blocky, so it's like you got that, and then is the other pick, which shows their upcoming Flash blockies figure, which looks definitely strange because it seems like it's going to have like an inner frame situation. So it seems like he's more of a cyborg kind of like thing.
It's like an Ultron bot.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's supposed to be human, but then you've got like this really thin robotic shell or like inner shell, and then you put on the armor to make it like look like this, which is like, all right, that looks decent. But I don't know if this is like because so far from Blockies with DC, they've done these very mech styled looks. I mean, they've done Batman Beyond, Nightwing, and then Harley Quinn. We know they're going to be doing a Hush Batman. Yes, another Hush Batman. Oh, so much. And a Hush Catwoman to go with that. And there's rumors that they're still doing like the blind boxes. So far they've done the Batman blind box wave and the Justice League movie blind box wave. I still don't get why we're getting Justice League movie stuff because but it seems like they might be doing Arkham stuff, so who knows? That's a rumor. But yeah, here we have that. But what do you guys think of this closer look at their Blockies Absolute Batman?
Yeah, Blockies, I don't know if that's really my thing with like figures. But I can't deny this does look a little cool. Like the cape and all the accessories like it comes with. I gotta admit, it does look very good. And I know it'll look even better when we get the full color reveal.
Which I'm assuming will be soon because this looks like it's a fully formed, like you can see the articulation points here. So maybe San Diego Comic Con? Maybe. Because I mean that's gonna be the king or queen or whatever of reveals because oh boy, it's going to be insane, and we're definitely going to be talking about that, so don't you worry. Tune in for when that happens. But yeah, I mean, because this looks more like the actual representation of the art. This actually looks really good. I mean, the Flash one is fine. It just looks just strange. But what about you, Ashwan? Would you be interested in this one rather than the UPF one?
For me, I'm 50-50 with both, just because I don't know what the price point is on that other companies, but I somewhat know the price point of Blockies. It's just the fact that as much as I don't mind Blockies, of course, when I done that Spider-Man, I found it kind of difficult, but it was my first time doing it, and I made an error. But
Yeah.
also, it's just a fact of like, I would rather like if you buy blockies, then I mind because there is some blockies that I've thought of buying, but it's just you buy an action figure and then have to build it. I don't mind it; it's a cool like thing. But if for something like Absolute Batman, I'd rather buy a figure that I can just straight away like take out and do stuff with, rather than having to make this blockies that I have to then spend like maybe an hour or two trying to build, and maybe it doesn't look too right because I build it a certain way, or done this, that, and the other, or like I lose a piece to the copper monster, and I just like other just wait and see if a company does a figure that is as good as the one you shoot before, or
Mm.
just ever random company, and then just maybe see. But like if Rockies is places that does look the best, then I may end up buying it. It's just a case of have to, like Zion said, just wait and see what they all look like with like color on them, and just determine whether like price point and at the time if I actually really want it or not. To be honest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, it is a race of which figure will come out first. We've got this, then we've got the rumored but pretty much confirmed McFarlane version of Absolute Batman, and then we've got UPF, and then who knows? Because with the announcement of an animated series of the Absolute Universe or Absolute Batman animated cartoon, that will definitely spike up the interest of action figures. So Mattel possibly could do Absolute Batman. Who knows? Maybe that's the figure they reveal at San Diego Comic Con as part of their adult collector line, which would be insane, by the way, to start off with Absolute Batman. Maybe that's the SDC exclusive. Yeah. Uh, Interesting things of note. But yeah. So from that, we go to a different planet, or we go to the cosmic realm. I don't know. I'm trying something, and we have the Cosmic Legion wave of what was it? Mortal Thorn. Let me get the name right, just so I can be correct. Yes, it's the Mortal Thorn Cosmic Legion wave. So this has just been announced. I'm not going to bother with the names of the characters. Here's the offering. So you got quite a lot of different sorts of action figures. You got like a normal space dude. I have terrible description. Soldier type. So you got that, like a Legion builder. That's what it says. And then you got the ACU 301. So more of like a robot android figure. Even comes with like a skull. So this is kind of like the skull builder, like skeleton builder of the wave, like how they usually do with Mythic Legions. Then we've got, so that's more showing there, and like the different customizability with it, because with Mythic Legions you can do a lot of pop and swap and do your own thing. So this is going to be an interesting figure for that, because you can make like cyborg humans, like mix and matching. So you got that. Then we do have the kind of like seek and strike mission pack version of the like initial first guy. So it's just a pack that you can upgrade that one and make it look different if you're getting multiples. Then you've got this little kind of like sort of like a creature who's more of like a some kind of like tech smith, and he's got this really cool kind of like table that he can go on, like but also it has articulated arms, like legs kind of thing, that you can take off, and if you wanted to do some crazy pop and swap and have human hands on that, hey, you could do that. And like it comes with the seat that you can slide on here, so you can actually have him sat on the kind of like table slash walk thing. But there you go. Then we do have this Brainer Mecroticon character. So very kind of like evil scientist vibe. But yeah, it obviously comes with different heads. You know, Mythic Legions always come with different things. You got General Honara, who's got is fully stacked with different head options, a helmet, hooded head, this long white hair look, even the space kind of like dome that you've seen from like the first waves and that stuff. Then also the wing pack. And then this guy, Kyoji Rune, who looks insane. He's got like more of like a Ronin vibe. You know, he's got like a breather, but he's got an unmasked look. He's also got a helmet as well, but he's got tons of katanas or like space katana swords kind of situation. And cloth goods cape or cloak. I recognize the body is like using some of the other stuff, but also it also has new, so pretty cool. And then you have this crazy alien Zortex. There we go. And then you got this Globulon Croon, who just looks like a full-on jelly monster. If you like jelly, red translucent plastic, so awesome. You know, it's gonna be it'll look great. And by the way, what I heard from when we were talking about this on the recap, that this face is not even his face. It's it's some kind of piece of someone's head, but not his actual head, or something like that. So definitely very horror-esque. But there we go. So that was the Cosmic Legion Mortal Thorn wave. Are any of you interested in this sort of like cosmic stuff? But and yeah, Alexi says looks like Halo before they figured out Spartans. But yeah, any interest in these, or is this like a ooh?
Ooh. You know me, I'm not really like mythically any kind of Legion's guy. But I do find Legions like interesting, and I do like respect the line. It's just that maybe I'll get into it like at some point, but for right now, it's a pass.
Fair enough. Andrew says that globe guy looks amazing. Hopefully, he comes in other colors down the road. Maybe. What about you, Ashwan? I know you're kind of like you kind of interested in those orcs that Mythic Legion does, but any of the space stuff interest you? Is it kind of like I don't know, still
With everything that Four Horsemen puts out, so Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, I always like am interested by them when you Cloud and everyone shows them off, just because they do look cool. But it's just the case that I know the prices of them, and that's just one of the main things I put into account all the time. I do get it, like when you actually like when Cloud describes them, and when you actually like put into your head how much effort these figures like take to be made, and the fact that they're fully compatible with everything else, it does make sense why they cost more than a normal figure. And like a lot of the designs do look cool. I remember some that have been shown off like before this look very cool, and I think look cool. And it may just be the case of Zion, like John said, where I may collect it maybe like later down the line or something. I may, but it's just at the moment I won't be buying any of these because I don't have any connection to them. But if I was to hop onto anything Four Horsemen, I would probably go the more Mythic Legion stuff because I'm a fantasy more than do my sci-fi. And so I would most likely hop onto that and like maybe get some orcs or just get some random people just because they look kind of cool. At the moment, I'm not gonna buy anything and like get maybe one figure within like I don't know a couple months or something. I don't really know just yet, but I may get one eventually.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea. And like like you said, Four Horsemen / like the company that make Mythic and Cosmic Legion and also other figures. They're not like Hasbro and Mattel, but hence why like the figures are a bit more expensive. But from what I have a few Mythic Legions. I only have one Cosmic, and they're decent figures, and they just like they come with so much that you're like, okay, yeah, I get the price, But it is, it's the case. Like sometimes you can find them like on eBay on the aftermarket, like being a slightly cheaper. Some of them, so it's always a good look for that. But yeah, I'm tempted on these, but then again, it's like, I'm not doing the whole all in because that's like £419 or dollars for the whole wave plus the extra add-ons that they include. So like here, it shows like there's a head pack that you get free with it, but still it's quite a lot. But I know there are people who will be doing that all in because they want all the figures. So fair enough to. But one of the things I'm like interested is like that Ronin guy and the robot. He looks interesting because it'll be like, oh, nice custom. But yeah, Andrew, again, this stuff could fit with Guardians of the Galaxy. But from that, we have our last bit of toys news before we go into our main topic. And this was brought to you by Zion. So, Zion, explain what this announcement is for, because I'm assuming it's SH Figure Arts based, but
so what I think this is like getting us ready for like all the different reveals that's going to happen leading up to Comic-Con for figure arts. It can be like Gamerverse, Marvel Gamerverse, some animes, basically like anything that they make. So, and we've already seen like it's already been like confirmed. One of the animes that new figures will be revealed is JJK. That's already confirmed that that'll be one of the like focuses for like new reveals for like new anime figures. And I'm hoping that what I'm hoping we can see is like some reveals from like Naruto and mainly Naruto and Yu Yu Hakusho. Because for Yu Yu Hakusho, we just got Hiei revealed like a few months ago, so I'm hoping like they revealed like Kuwabara, so we can get like that final four, but not the like main four of that show, because we already have Yusuke, Kurama, and Hiei. Well, yeah, those three, but those four on the in that comments section, in that little GIF, and. Some other things we can get is like another part of that display base for the Z Fighters. Since we already got Gohan revealed, we can get like either the new Trunks or Vegeta officially revealed. Because we haven't. Cause it seemed like we've seen like the prototypes for the Kid Gohan that got revealed, a new Trunks and the base form Vegeta back in November during the whole like Smash Nations little event. And we're just now we got the full reveal for Kid Gohan, so I'm hoping like we can either see like I'm hoping more we see that new Trunks over the base form Vegeta, because we haven't had a Trunks in like a long time. Plus it's with him with his jacket off and his more like cooler look. And for the One Piece line, we've already gotten teasers of like 3 characters that can be revealed: Whitebeard, a new Shanks, and a new Akainu. We got teasers of those, so I'm hoping like we can like get like the full reveal of those figures. And the other lines have just been like we just gotta wait and see what else will be there. Yeah, it's like his look from Marineford. Yeah, all the other lines like the Naruto line, the Bleach line, it's just like we can just like wait and see what they do. But overall, I'm hoping for Kuwabara and a new look at one of the Z Fighters, and hopefully a new villain from Hunter x Hunter because we haven't gotten a new reveal from Hunter x Hunter in a while.
Mm.
Yeah, because that Hisoka was revealed back in like February.
Oh yeah, February. Well, no, this one's a 1 week ago. Oh, it's saying
Yeah, it's like
figures up.
yeah, it's like letting everybody know like yeah, it's coming soon. I know we haven't showed it off, but yeah, that's the only like confirmed line that we have that's gonna be revealed at San Diego, or leading up to San
Diego. Okay. Obviously, there's other like they've done this kind of like SH Monster Arts Evangelion crossover, which looks insane. And yeah, I can see like they're already kind of like putting stuff like here, My Hero Academia coming soon. So definitely interested on that. Yeah. We got like some other stuff. There's that one mentioned here, the guy who's like pretty much like, I want to be a Kamen Rider, but he's just a regular Joe kind of guy. So it's cool to see him on the display with that. And it seems like they've also, you know how I mentioned previously about that metal line where it's like you put the armor on the action figures for the Kamen Rider. It seems like they're doing that again, like they're bringing back another line, but it's for Saint Seiya, because you can tell this is like a very old base of articulation. Because boy, look at the fingers. But it seems like he's gonna be all chromed out, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, I will honestly, from here, it seems like we're gonna get a Chatsu, a Krillin, and obviously the other fighters like Tien, Yamcha, and everyone else like Piccolo. It's gonna be interesting because all of them are gonna come with like a base. Like Gohan comes with a base, and then like there's sort of some other thing of like DLC pack-in, whatever. But I'm sure it will be it's gonna be a very like once it's all revealed, it's gonna look amazing. So and also we got JoJo here. So very good. There we go. That's all that weeb shit. Yeah, Alexi, let's go, Mahito. Yeah. That would be sick if they do reveal him. I want more Hunter X Hunter figures. I can't believe I said Hunter X Hunter. I want the woman with the vacuum cleaner. I have no clue who that is, but
the one part of the Phantom Troop, which Crollo. What Andrew? Who's your favorite Hunter x Hunter villain? Well, mine is Crollo.
And yes, that you're right. A new Chatsu figure. I wonder if he's gonna have a blow up feature. To suit. Well, no, Chatsu's been gone, and then he's come back. It's all right. I wonder if he's going to look more articulated because he's just usually like a small pack-in. But then again, they've done Pan as a full release, and that costs like 90. And I was like, "Ras, what the hell?" Yeah, and then Andrew, I love that. I want to be a Kamen Rider guy. It could be used with the Jackie Chan's heads to make a Jackie Chan Adventures figure. Oh, that would be interesting. I mean, from what I've seen, they've done they've also got another Jackie Chan movie, but this is with Faye. I think the actor's Sammo Hung or something like that. So he's like that. Always, he's a funny guy. But there's the Jackie Chan figure that they're doing again, or doing a new one, because it seems like because they've done different versions of Jackie Chan. I remember seeing the one in Forbidden Planet. And I was like, oh, damn, he looks so cool, but I've never seen the film. I'm waiting for them to do films like Rush Hour. Come on, give us a Rush Hour SH figure art of, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Please, that would be sick. But there you go. So there we are. That's pretty much. Meruem is fun, but is the biggest villain. Oh, God's dad. There you go, God's dad.
Jing.
I wonder if because my knowledge of God is very, like I said, of Hunter x Hunter. It's very obscure because it's very, like, based off the game. but I know he transforms into an adult, and it's like it's one of the things that it happens. But then after doing that, he's on a whole hiatus of not using his powers and whatnot. But I'm like, I wonder if they'll do that figure of him as the adult form, because that would be interesting. Because that looks cool. Although he's just big, like he's adult with crop top and shorty shorts because he's aged out out of his clothes. I know this is all weeb shit stuff, but there we go. So that's pretty much it for the toy news. But now we go to our main topic, or like the main discussion, really, which is, of course, Supergirl. We've already done toy news, and this was our graphics were done by Combat Collector, aka Big Will. So shout out him. Let me just put his Insta handle in the comments because he always does some great graphics for us. So always appreciate it. So make sure you go follow him here. But yes, our main topic of today is Supergirl. So let me just get our graphics for the Supergirl. Oh, they did apparently. They did show the prototype of the adult Gon at a show. So remember.
Interesting.
But, interesting. But now, okay. So spoiler free. But first off, have we all seen the film now? Ashwan?
Yep.
Awesome. Oh yeah. Quickly before we talk about Supergirl, let me get properly dressed. There you go. No, I'm Supergirl, or I've got Supergirl attire. Like this actually is, and you know, the rips that they have on this hat. I don't know if my lighting's showing it properly, but it's not me messing up the cap. I swear. This is actually designed. They decided to make the cap look like it's been damaged by, I don't know, crypto or whatever. Very weird. But you know, hey, as a freebie, hell yeah. But let's get into Supergirl. Oh, Lexi, thumbnail looks like yourselves from the future back to stop you from making a mistake. Oh, is that hinting at your opinion of the Supergirl film? Oh, wait, let me take off my headband. There we go. There we go. Much better. Try to put a headband with a cap on. That doesn't work. So yes, let's go around. Quick thoughts, spoiler free. Quick thoughts of Supergirl. So we'll go from Ashwan. What are your like non-spoiler thoughts of Supergirl?
I enjoyed it. Of course, we go into, like you said, more of it in spoilers, but I'll just say for a start that I thought it was pretty good, but I haven't read the comic book, and so if people have with it because of that, then of course I get it. But I haven't read the comic book, so I went into this blindly, didn't really expect much from it. I think she does a great performance in the film. I love Lobo in it as well. Of course, I don't think it's like better than Superman, but I didn't think it would be. But it's a funny way to go to you releasing Superman and releasing this and going in a kind of order between of this like first phase of the DCU. But I thought it was a good time. I enjoyed it. Not as much of a not like to the same as Superman, but I still thought it was pretty decent. Introduced some characters, hopefully going forward, like certain stuff going forwards, and so I thought it was a decent second film for the DCU, but maybe could have been a bit better.
Fair enough. And correction, Andrew says, "Oh my bad, it was just a prototype of a Bandai statue." How could you, Andrew? You made us think it was potential. That's all right. Don't worry. Zion, what were your like non-spoiler thoughts of Supergirl the film?
I liked it. It wasn't anything too great or what. It's not a bad film either. I think it's like a good, decent film. And I also like how this one took place where it took place compared to the Superman movie. That's like a bit of a contrast. And I think that the actress, I think her name's like Millie Alcock. I think she did amazing as Supergirl, and Jason Momoa hilarious as Lobo. And it was nice to see Crypto again in like a live action movie because I liked him in Superman. Well, I liked him in this movie too. And overall, it's a good decent movie.
Yeah. And Alexi, we saw the movie. I don't think it deserves the brutal critique it's getting. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around of where it's like it's either being shat on, if to be blunt, or it's been like everyone likes it, or it's a case of like there's in the middle sort of situation. For me, um, it was a good film. It's different, I think, and that is the big selling point of this film. It's not similar to Superman, so I think you can't compare it in the sense of like, oh, like I thought it would be the same tone as that. No, I think with James Gunn doing, I mean, he wasn't the director of this film, but like the universe itself, it seems like the DCU has different genres that they're going for like first off we had Peacemaker season 2, then you had what was it called, the Creature Commandos, so again like different tones, and then you got Superman, which is a completely different tone, but it was like what you wanted from a Superman film. And then obviously Supergirl, we got like, it's loosely, we'll get into that, but like based off of like the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow storyline, but like kind of like aesthetic, but like overall it was a good film. And like I think I agree with Zion's thought of like, yeah, Millie Alcock, great as Supergirl. I'm happy with her performance, and I look forward to seeing her in like the DC universe later on. So it's like um yeah, so I'm like extremely looking forward to her, seeing what her story goes through. So, and like we've all said kind of like, oh, Lobo's here. I'll talk about him. Crypto, always amazing, and the 2 new additions for the film. Very from the storyline. So she's pretty much similar to her comic counterpart, but then Krem, aesthetically it has been changed up, but he's a good, decent villain, I guess. A bit messy film. I would say it's a bit messy, but overall okay. Andrew, I haven't seen the new movie yet, but it can't be worse than the 1984 Supergirl movie, right? 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 I've not even seen that film. I know it's technically in like the Richard Donner universe of Superman, and I remember the actress showing up in Smallville as Kal-El's mum, and then she later on appears in Supergirl as Supergirl's mum, which is hey, legacy actors, woo. But so now here's the warning for those who haven't seen the movie. I'd say now you could like either mute us or go somewhere else. I don't know. I mean, I'd say stay in because we're not going to go like it's a discussion. But anyway, now we go to the spoiler stuff of this film. So right off, like with this film, it gives us what happened to Andrew. Bye, Felicia. But yeah, so like this film gives us like the point of view of what happened to Krypton, but also what happened to like the other part of, because obviously with Supergirl, she Kara Zor-El, she is like the cousin to Superman, so her father is Jor-El's brother. And in this film they show like, oh, the fact that like, yeah, one of the things from Superman has carried over, which is Jor-El and Lara L, aka the parents of Superman, they sent Superman out to conquer Earth, which is like the weirdest retcon of like the Kryptonian parents. But it seems like it was only for Superman, because we see in this story, in this movie, where you know after Krypton is like decimated, Kara Zor-El's father creates a dome to keep Argo City alive, or like basically keeps it stable, and so they don't get destroyed. So then like Argo City's still running, and like it's the case that Krypton's kind of saved, but then you see how people in Krypton get in Argo City get like a virus and slowly kills off a lot of people, including Kara's mum, and then eventually, like, it seems like Zor-El, aka Kara's dad, but like it seems like he was just like, oh yeah, I want to make her like. Also, one of the I think cool things of that film is that you had full on Kryptonian language, which we did see a bit in Superman, but like Millie Alcock here speaking full Kryptonian, as well as like everyone in Krypton speaking Kryptonian, rather than having the whole the audience gets to hear it in English even though they're talking in Kryptonian. But yeah. What would you guys think of like the Krypton scenes, or Argo City, kind of like seeing Supergirl's kind of like backstory before she got to her adventures in this film? Was it good, like cool to see that, or was it like I don't know, it was a bit too long? Ashwan, what did you think of that?
Like, I think it made sense. Like, I kind of enjoyed, and I thought it was kind of cool just to see Krypton. And like it makes sense. It's a massive important part of her character is the fact that she did stay on Krypton. Like, it's a massive part that she stayed when Clark got sent when he was like a baby. She stayed there for a fair bit and then gets sent later. And so like it's a massive thing to then kind of, even though like despite you having a certain amount of runtime, trying to develop up a bit of like Krypton and see what happens between her family and other families within Krypton. And also we have the first appearance of Crypto, and so he's like a little pup as well. Like them scenes are like kind of cute, and like I didn't really like know of too much about like the main with a lot of this movie, and I said it before in non-spoilers, but because I haven't read the comic book, most of my things from this movie is like I just thought it looked kind of cool, the action was good, like these scenes, for example, were good. But because I haven't read the comic book, it's just the fact that I don't know whether Krypton is in it as much as it is in the movie, and like whether like there's certain stuff they changed for the movie to do with the whole Krypton thing that they shouldn't have changed, or certain stuff like that. And so like to me it seemed alright. It seemed like a bit odd because of course like the scene you're showing off where like they break away from Krypton and then they like float up in the sky just and have a little like civilization, but then they realise that there's of course kryptonite in the pool, and so it doesn't really end well. But like it's just I enjoyed the scenes on Krypton. They were pretty decent. Of course, they're not like the best scenes in the film because like you have way more different stuff, and you have Lobo doing cool shit later on. You have her doing like action stuff later on, but it's a decent way to develop her up, get her ready for what's happening. And also, one thing that I kind of liked somewhat that they do with the film is it's kind of dispersed out within the film. Like it isn't like you could have done it where it's like from the start, and then you go up where she is now. It's kind of just like she talks about it was talking to the little girl. Like she talks about it while talking to the little girl, and then it just like it goes scene of like what she was in, then it just keeps going like that, which I feel like was pretty cool. But I enjoyed the Krypton scenes. They probably could have been a bit better, but I thought they were good enough.
Yeah, and from my knowledge of like the Krypton whole situation, like, you know, usually it's the case that there's two kind of like places in Krypton that are kind of like kept like still, or, you know, kind of like kept in preservation. One is Candor City, which is usually bottled by Brainiac, and like it's similar to this of like how he, you know, will create a dome and then he'll pretty much shrink that whole city and keeps it in a bottle. Which there's a rumor of like, for, I mean, it's not a rumor, he's confirmed for Superman Man of Tomorrow that he will be appearing in that film Brainiac. Which one of the things I thought about this, you know, how they were showing Krypton, but I guess from her lens, she didn't see what happened to Kandor, so she's like, I only know what happened here. But it's the case like Argo City is usually kept somewhere else, or sometimes it's a thriving place that has its own, like, you know, agriculture and whatnot. I don't usually see it like, oh, everyone dies eventually. It's the case of like with Supergirl shipping off with Kal-El, it's usually at the same time, but then she is either stuck in transition, like her ship gets stuck either in the Phantom Zone or whatever, or like a black hole, so that by the time she comes to Earth, you know, Superman's an adult, and we do get to see Superman in the film, in a few scenes that quite actually, like, you know, obviously I think it's like the case you have to see Superman, but it's like, you know, it's the case of like you need to see what was her reaction, because it starts off with her like kind of like hungover, which is one of the like big things of like, oh, she's pretty much just like partying, so they carry that over from Superman, where we see her, she's kind of like drunk coming back to Earth and whatnot. And then like we see her when she arrives on Earth in like from Krypton, she got that weird like tinfoil suit, which I always thought was like weird, like but like in terms of the Krypton stuff, it was like, it was cool. And one of the things that's happened in modern comics is that Supergirl's father, Zor-El, became somewhat of a cyborg Superman. Like he came you know, into the modern comics, and he showed up as like a cyborg Superman version during the kind of like New 52 era, and then he kind of stayed as like a cyborg Superman until Hank Henshaw showed up, which, you know, I don't know if this film was kind of setting that up. Let me see if I can get that cyborg Superman Zor-El, because like with with both the parents of Supergirl and you know, Supergirl and Superman, they both have different fates in the comics. Like obviously it's the case of, you know, usually the whole planet destroys, bye bye, goodbye situation. But in the comics, like recent comics, they both had different switches. So like here you can see Zor-El became like a cyborg Superman during the New 52 era, which maybe he could come, like, because, you know, he succumbs to the sickness before Supergirl is shipped off. Yes, one of the, like, we'll definitely talk about like Supergirl as the character, but they definitely set her up to be angry enough for the Red Lantern Corps, because that is one of the features in the New 52 storyline. Supergirl, because of her rage and everything, she gets a Red Lantern ring. So potentially in this universe they could do that, and like we could see that. But I think by the end of the film, it kind of like, it's kind of like that, but then there. But anyway, so did you like the whole Krypton like flashbacks, or was it a bit too much? Like, was it like, oh, it was good to see a little bit, but then it was like, we can move on a little, like plus see other stuff.
At some points it can be like a little slow, but then I do like appreciate that we had these for, because of like for Kara, she's the we 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 can see her like backstory on Krypton because she grew up on there. She has those like memories from Krypton, and basically she knows what happened. She was there while Kal-El, he was like a baby who was like sent from Krypton to Earth when he was like a newborn. So he wouldn't have any memories of his home planet. So we can't like really like get any like knowledge or like any like information or like any flashbacks except for him just like going to Earth because he wouldn't remember. So I do like how this time we had it for Kara, so we can actually like see what Krypton looked like in this universe. We can see like what happened, how the planet was dying, and through this flashback we can see like some stuff that they seems like they are like setting up could be for like future projects. And now I haven't read the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow story, so the whole like Krypton like city like going up. Um, I find it like a little surprising because I'm used to like you said just her and Kal and Kara going to Earth at the same time while Kara is getting like stuck in like the Phantom Zone, and she like gets out and goes to Earth when like he's already like Clark Kent and Superman when he's like an adult.
Mm.
So like it's like a little like jarring, but then like I can like I quickly like got behind it and like the reason like why they did this. And I like how they did like their Kryptonian language for something different because like the DCEU they just have them speak English, and I know that's not like a big thing for like most audiences, but for like us like comic fans, I think like having like in a different language, and it just like speaks more to like the planet of Krypton. Like when Kara first landed, and then she was talking, but Superman didn't know what she was saying. I thought that was a good scene. Yeah, and like it gives like more context of how like Superman had to teach Kara like the ways of Earth and like the language and all that. It gives more like depth and like context to like that whole storyline off screen. So overall, I like the Krypton flashbacks. It can be a little slow at times, but then overall, I think it was like very necessary for the movie, and I'm glad we got it.
Fair enough. Yeah. It was definitely a cool thing to see. I wish one of the things I wish they did do is that we did see Jor-El, like we see them shipping off and like their interaction, so we could see like because in some storylines, Jor-El and Zor-El, I know they're brothers, great names, but like usually they have a sort of kind of like sibling dispute usually, but like it's always the case that when Superman is or baby Kal-El is shipped off, it happens at the same time Supergirl shipped off, and you see the interaction of the two, of like them doing they're both setting off their kids. So it would have been cool to see if like the interaction of Superman's parents with Supergirl's parents, but it seems like they probably couldn't afford Bradley Cooper to cameo again. I mean, they probably could, but like maybe he was just busy. But also, I think one of the big things about this film, it's the focus is on Supergirl. So although we do get to see Superman a lot in this film, and I love how you can tell the time difference of when you first see Superman when she lands, and he's like got like slightly shorter hair, or like I think his hair was shorter. But then like later on we see like him like through the voice message thing or like the video call where he's trying to be like, hey, aren't you coming home, kind of situation. And then like at the end where we do see Kara kind of like accept a kind of like, I want to be a superhero. Let me see if I can get those images. Where like he's like, yeah, cool. I'm glad to have you, cousin. Let's do the whole super. I don't think people would have shown the pictures, not yet. But like it is crazy to see, like, because then his hair is a little bit longer, not mullet long. Don't worry, I feel like that will be an eventual thing of this universe. maybe. But his hair, he definitely has like. There's been like enough time between those two, like between the film and that stuff, and like like did you think or did you wish that they set up more for like what's next for the DC universe, or like a tease of what will happen in Man of Tomorrow, or is it kind of like okay, this is kind of like a good standalone story that has some kind of like introductions of certain characters?
For me, I didn't mind them to like show off a bit more or like maybe do certain stuff, but at the same time, like they're building up for like Man of Tomorrow, which comes out on 2027. I can't remember when in 2027, but it comes out at some point in 2027. So they're like the only properties they have like up until that film is these two and Lanterns that tie into it. Because Clayface is coming out, but of course we don't really know if it ties in. It's a bit separate, and so like maybe we would expect a bit more, but I honestly feel like it's just going to be the case that like they show off a little bit here and there. They show off a post-credit scene at the end of Lanterns, maybe like that, and that ties in. But I just don't honestly see it being the case, and they've already like kind of well, they already kind of made it a thing because they done it with Superman. Is that like they made the post credit scenes wooky than they did like actually mean anything. And so like I don't know whether from now on that's going to be like a thing that James Gunn like does in as a head of the company or the head of the just because like make a post credit scene up to it kind of thing. And so I honestly feel like it's just going to be like a maybe just like a brief recap in the start of the video, maybe, or the start of the movie. Like maybe like it tells you what happened from then on, or they just go to the point where they just have to like leave it up to us. We decide what happens because there's like the main thing as well that I'm thinking about is of course Lobo's in this film. We don't know if he's gonna come back, if he's gonna come back in Man of Tomorrow or not. And so it's just a case that they've done pretty well with like introducing characters and stuff. But with, for example, we don't know if he's gonna make a return, but we know that most likely most of the people in Superman are gonna make a return in the other Superman film. Yeah. And so like it's pretty decent within that. But it's just the main thing, of course, is like you said, or like you were saying, like reveal more. Like maybe they could have done some other stuff. Like I know one of the main things that a lot of people want, and I kind of want, is them to like establish the Justice League, but it may take them time. But of course, I wouldn't like they could have, but I wouldn't have sprinkled like a Wonder Woman or someone into a Supergirl post credit or Supergirl. Would have put it in something like a bigger than maybe Superman or something. Wouldn't have done it in Supergirl, even though like it's the project up and coming until Superman. I just feel like we're gonna get another Justice League member maybe in Superman or like after post credit scene or something. But I thought they done it pretty well, and like I somewhat know what's going on. But I think it's just more so just we have to wait for Man of Tomorrow and not to expect too much, to be honest.
Fair enough. So you did hit on the subject of Lobo. So I was kind of like, we'll focus on Supergirl, but let's get straight into Lobo. I personally like. What did you think of Lobo, played by Jason Momoa as Zion? We'll go Zion, then Ashwan, and then we'll go like that. Ascending order, whatever. Do you think he did a good job, or was he? Yeah, what do you think?
I think I liked him in this movie. I don't think he was like I don't think he was like bad. He has some like cool moments and some like funny moments. And this is like our like first rendition of like Lobo and like live action. So there wasn't really like any like expectation like he had to live up to compared to like Millie Alcock with like Supergirl because there was like other live action Supergirls that we had. So and Jason Momoa of course we all know has what's in Arthur Curry, Aquaman, and yeah, and I know it's kind of like jarring to see him as like Lobo. Like at first it was like when it's first like announced and like the trailers, but then I mean I got used to it in the movie, and yeah, it wasn't like the best thing of all time, but I still think he did like a good job in the movie as Lobo. I don't think he was like bad.
What about you, Ashwan? What did you think of Mr. Lobo, aka Jason Momoa's performance?
I thought he was really cool. Like, I like the character. I like Jason Momoa as an actor, and of course, big year for him. Like this year coming up because of course he's got Street Fighter coming out as well, and so pretty crazy. Establish him as a character in this DCU because he was in of course, the DCEU before, and he was within that as Aquaman, and he literally is like said as soon as James Gunn like announced it, he wanted to play Lobo, and like he does well for the character. It's just like the main thing for me is I don't know of the character too well, and so
Right.
like I think he was pretty cool. I think his performance was okay. Like I thought he done okay within this movie. It was a bit odd to have him in there because I know that he isn't in the original comic book.
Mm.
But just the fact of because I don't know the character too well, I don't know whether like he was the best choice for him. I don't really know like other than just he looks cool to the point of like his actual most of his like backstory and just certain stuff to do with him. Um, but I enjoyed him in this film. I enjoyed like his dynamic with certain characters and just like certain scenes we got with him. But it's just a case that, like I said before, we just don't know when we're going to see him again, and so
Yeah.
I'm excited for when that is. But I thought he was decent in this film, but I could see why maybe people thought he was iffy, but I thought overall he gave the presence of Lobo. But I don't know too much about him.
No, fair enough. Like, yeah, because like if you are like a beginner, or not a beginner, but like if you haven't seen Lobo in a lot of stuff, then this is the perfect kind of like, hey, here we've got Lobo, but then you might be interested in picking up certain comics of his, or learning a bit more, because obviously they kind of do it as like oh, by the way, he is the last of his race, but he did that on purpose because he killed them all. So like it would be like a offhand remark if that was his origin. They don't have to they don't show like a clip of him being like, killing his whole race and that stuff. And then we from the film, he's told, we're told he's a bounty hunter. He's hunting down. So like they make a reason why he's in the film of like he's hunting down one of the like the bandits that are part of Krem's group. But for me, so I do have a course correction for you. There was a previous live action Lobo from the very short-lived but very good show of Krypton. So this guy, Emmett J. Scanlon, he played Lobo. He was the first ever Lobo live action actor. So he played him in that show. I thought he did a phenomenal job in that show, which brings me to like my opinion on Lobo in this film, but also previously, which I do recommend if you want to see Lobo. He did appear in the Superman animated series, so I recommend watching that series. But also, one of his best performances is in Justice League, the animated series. But he's also appeared in other animated series, so Young Justice, Justice League Action. Surprisingly, he didn't appear in Smallville, which I thought that would have been funny if he did, because I'm assuming he would wear a leather jacket, because all those Smallville characters wore leather jackets. um, but one of the things that I felt like, I think it was everyone was like yes to Jason Momoa being Lobo. There's no question about it, because he looks like Lobo, he acts like Lobo in real life, which is like, yeah, and like he has that kind of like aesthetic that would fit. And we did see him like in a cancelled project of The Crow, of like him, what he would look like in white makeup, and I was like, well, that's Lobo. This is screaming Lobo. But one of the things I thought about like Lobo in this film is that, was he needed? No, he was not needed for the story. He was just there to be like, oh, we're gonna introduce this character here, and then we'll see him later on, kind of situation. But also, I do think Jason Momoa kind of phoned in his performance, because there were moments where it was like, it felt like he was drunk acting or situation. Like, I don't know, like he didn't. Like, I think he could have done better as Lobo. Like, I think one of the things I've seen like in some films is that he's pretty much kind of laid back with his acting now, compared to like I think like Aquaman, where he was more serious. And then like I think one of the other, like, it kind of worked for that film, for the Fast and Furious film, where he was the bad guy, where he was more like, oh, yeah, but then he is villainous in that. But with Lobo, I felt like there were moments where he's doing great stuff, and he, I wish he was a bit more, because his character is very much like a Deadpool-esque kind of character. He's a take on, like, he's a commentary on like the 90s as a whole. Like, oh, we got, he's an edgy character, but he's funny because he swears and he says like bastich or frack, or he will swear. And like one of the things on his jacket is that it says like "bite me, fanboys" or something like that. So he knows, like, he's kind of like that, kind of like not fourth wall breaking, but he's pretty much like, oh, he's fun, edgy in the sense. And I felt like there were moments where he was that, but then there were moments where he felt like he was drunk, and I was like, I don't know, like he didn't have that kind of like, I don't know, bravado sort of thing. So I was like, eh. But also, I think having him in this film in the storyline that is Supergirl, from Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and I'm like, he felt like it felt like he was a cameo, but not in like it felt okay, but also felt weird, like he was just put in there. And I think if it was the case, like, yeah, I think that was the case. Like, you felt off, but I'm assuming when he does appear again, he's gonna like up his game. And also, I did not like this brown jacket that he's wearing, because he's clearly wearing the comic outfit, but he's got this like duster jacket that just looks off. And especially when he's riding his, was it Space Hog, his vehicle, it just looks weird because it's a big jacket, like it's a big trench coat, and usually Lobo just has a short leather jacket, which we can see underneath is there, but then he's got this weird trench duster, and I'm like, there's some aspects where I'm like, I don't know if the costumes were costuming that day, sort of situation. But then again, like, I think when Jason Momoa was mentioning his filming process, like, most of it was him in the makeup, and then he was only in the film for like 5 minutes. So it's the case that he was a glorified cameo, I think personally. But it is what it is. But Lobo, okay, decent, could be improved, for future appearances. And then obviously Crypto was kind of pretty much like, I don't want to say fridged, but pretty much put onto the sideline because they had to make the plot, need to save Crypto because he's been injected with something, just so they don't have to use the dog. Which I was like, oh, like, did you guys like not like? Did you want to see more Crypto, or was it okay for this film to not feature Crypto, or like have Crypto until like pretty much like the end kind of situation, or flashbacks of him, compared to his appearance in Superman? What do you guys think?
I think that I wouldn't have minded more Crypto, but it does make sense. Like, because we get a load of him in like Superman, and like even though he's not Superman's dog, and like we get a fair bit of him in that. He's a major thing in that, and like I wouldn't have minded him, like within this whole like movie, like just him doing his part. But I don't mind that Supergirl gets to do her own thing, and like of the whole like involvement with the little girl. Like it makes somewhat sense because you have like a lot of characters, even though they have a lot of characters in Superman and it works well. It's just like another load of like characters trying to fit it all together, and like I didn't mind it. But I know that they've announced the Crow series coming out, so hopefully I know that that's canon. So we're gonna get a whole series to do with him, and so that's at least something.
Yeah.
But like live action wise though, like of course, I maybe would have wanted to see a little bit more of him in the film, but we've got Man of Tomorrow coming out, and hopefully he plays a major role in that. If not, then is what it is. But like I said, we're getting the new show coming out, so just happy to see him, to be honest, because like he just looks like great in every film, even though there's only been two, but every thing I've seen him in so far, he just looks great, and I just want to see him in like more on screen to see like how with Crypto within this whole universe.
Fair enough. What about you, Zion? Were you pleased with like Crypto's appearance in this film, or did you think that we could have got more, or could we got less? Situation.
Like I said, we did see like a lot of him in Superman, so I don't mind having they like changed it up where like he's not in Supergirl as much to get like a little bit like a contrast, and we'll probably see like with Card going back to Earth, we'll probably see like a lot of him in Man of Tomorrow, since like that's like set on Earth, and then both Kara and Kal will be on there, and Crypto has like history with like Lex Luthor and like Lois Lane a bit, so we'll probably like see like more of him there than we do here, and some part of the movie, I get why they left him out for like some points of the movie, like all that space traveling, like and on that one planet where it's like that kryptonite moon. So like some things where I get why they had to like leave them out of the movie. Also like getting the cure, that was like the main plot, and they can't be carrying like a dying dog, like him dying for like most of the movie.
Yeah, that's true, because they wouldn't have the balls to kill off Crypto because he was so cute, and like it's one of the things of like, oh, we love seeing him, and like in both films he's like endangered, and I'm like, oh come on, can we just have like a scene of like Crypto just kicking ass? And like technically we do in Superman. Not in this film. I think in this film it's more of like you see the origin of how Supergirl met Crypto in Krypton. Gosh, that's a line. And then it's mainly the case of showing how like the relationship of those two, of how they're so strong that she's willing to do this and kind of rescue him, because he's poisoned by Krem, but it's a way to so we don't have to have Crypto fully in. But yeah, and then so what did you both think about the main story, or the kind of Ruth, her character, her portrayal? I mean, I know you both haven't read the comic or the storyline of Woman of Tomorrow, but in your opinion, was the story of the main objective of oh, she's on a revenge path, Supergirl is kind of as in Kara is very much oh, I understand rage and everything, but you can't do it. But then obviously she's kind of oh, don't confide into your vengeance. But then obviously from the ending, one of the things that happens is that Supergirl is the one to end, I'll say it in the kind of polite words so I don't get demonetized, end Krem, and so Ruth doesn't have to do that. But yeah, what did you think of their dynamic throughout the movie? Was it an enjoyable thing, and the story was good, or was it kind of I don't know, just from the movie aspect? Because obviously the comic storyline it's similar, but I know you both haven't read it, so it's what did you guys think as moviegoers, just being yeah, these are the two main characters we're dealing with for the film, obviously Supergirl and then Ruth? Would you?
I think the dynamic was okay. Like you said about the not going into the comic book because I don't really know too much, but at times she was a bit annoying just because she keeps repeating what she's saying. But I know that even though you said don't really want to go into the comic book too much, but I know that she does do it a fair bit where she does repeat herself a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I know that is a thing that they kind of kept in and certain stuff, and I think their dynamic is pretty good. They work well. But it's just the main thing is, of course, the whole story is just her her whole family gets eliminated by Krem basically, because her dad is famous swordsmith kind of guy. He makes these cool swords and certain stuff, and it's the one that she's holding in the picture, and basically he or she wants to get revenge on her father and her family, and so she wants to go and end Krem. And whilst that happens, funnily enough, Crypto gets hit with this syringe or drug kind of by Krem, and so kind of ties in where Supergirl's trying to take down Krem to get the antidote for her dog, and she happens to just they cross paths, and then she just assumes that Supergirl will help her because they have their comeuppance. And of course these people within a bar treating her kind of nasty, and so that they go together kind of thing. And I like their whole little journey together. They go through certain bits and bobs, and their dynamic good, and I think works well for this film. But it's just the case that I get with this film and with Superman. Superman was trying to start off the world, so they introduced a load more characters, and it's the same with this because it's adapted from a comic book. It literally is going to have the characters from the comic book in it. But with certain movies, even though I do kind of get it, but I hope maybe some of the DCU stuff will just be the character. You know what I mean? and
Mm.
like maybe just have them do their own. If especially for Supergirl, like they can do their own things. They're capable of like maybe being by themselves for like a movie or something.
Yeah, rather than having
But
like
I don't mind
having to
like
be supported by characters and that stuff. Like it just be about her.
Turning it
yeah,
up, but I gotta go.
like it just
Oh, well, see you, Zion.
See ya.
I guess Zion had to go, but it's
no.
just me and me and you. Don't worry, that's all good. Hope he's okay. So yeah, like you wanted to more like it's a Supergirl story rather than oh, technically Supergirl's more of like she's there reluctantly because of the, like crypto, but then you've also got like technically this is a Ruth story, but then you also got Lobo, and you're like there's too many cooks in the in like the broth or like in the kitchen kind of situation where it's like I just wanted this to be a Supergirl film rather than Supergirl and or like the adventures of Ruth, including Supergirl and Lobo. Yeah.
That's the main thing that I just think about is that if it's meant to be Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, like if it's meant to be a carbon copy of the comic book, why wouldn't they call it Woman of Tomorrow?
Mm.
Like I don't know whether like it's a thing that they could have done, but if it
Yeah.
is basically a carbon copy of that comic book, like you could have just called it that.
Yeah.
Like it's when like comic book movies come out, like and they have the same name. I just think it would have worked.
Yeah. I think so. One of the things that was a big standout is like because obviously, from previous stream I mentioned I went to the sneak peek of it, and one of the questions someone asked, or like when they were interviewing the director, I think it was Greg Gillespie, he said he didn't read the story of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. So that was a big kind of like, like, a lot of the promotional art is heavily based on the story of, or like, of the art of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Because I'll show you here, Woman of Tomorrow. Like, when you search it up, it shows the Supergirl movie, which is like, yeah, it makes sense. But like, you look at here, this is the main aesthetic of like the film because it is pretty much like it's telling you the story. See, like here, Ruth is here, like Supergirl's holding the sword, which you don't see this shot done or like this kind of like. One of the things I think about this film that lacks is the color, if you know what I mean, like the kind of like how this comic looks. I wish the film looked like very, beautiful and like colorful and sort of like because some like with some comic films they do kind of like they do inspirations from the storyline or like from the art, like they will recreate the art. And I know for like one of the things that's key about like when you do a comic adaptation, you want to recreate some of the scenes. I know technically for like Marvel, they with the worst Marvel film, I think it's Thor: Love and Thunder. They try and recreate scenes of the comic, and you're like, oh, that's cool, but they don't outright reference. They don't give that kind of like acknowledgement that it is, even though it is. They don't give it to the original writer or whatever or the designer. At least with this film, it understands that this is pretty much like they're going off this Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow storyline or aesthetic. But really, you do have the main characters of like Ruth and Kreb who are in this film, and it is that storyline. But when you realize it's not a faithful adaptation, so I get like why the film isn't called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and it's like, okay, fair enough. But when everything shows you that it could be, then you're like, oh, I wish we kind of got that rather than this mismatch of like, oh, we do have the characters in the film, but they're not quite as like, you know, the same, or, you know, I think like one of the cases I feel like I don't know in the storyline if Ruth is more of a badass or she's still like I feel like this is not like against the actress, because she does a good job, but I feel like, you know, I think like we could have seen more of her stuff of like her using a rage or whatnot, and like having this kind of like, I don't know, like I feel like if you were doing a proper adaptation of the storyline, I would have stuck with that rather than, and like the director did say like he had a story already in mind that he approached James Gunn for doing a Supergirl movie, and then obviously it was the case that it was very like they had to like include for like marketing purposes, and pretty much like they were like, okay, yeah, kind of let's bring it from the really popular storyline of Supergirl from comics, which is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and bring that there. But then they don't bring any of like the aesthetic of that storyline, if you know what I mean. Like, of course they have the sword here, but they don't have the artwork in the film to like it. Like when you look at the film, it looks very Guardians-esque, even though James Gunn is not doing the directing. Like he's not doing any of like, you know, whatever. It's Greg Gillespie. So I think like a lot of people when they saw the first trailer, like I think like were you similar? Like when you saw the trailer, you were like, oh, this is very Guardians based, because it's like, oh, space, music.
Yeah, it like this, the main thing with like this, like you were saying, it is that it's very like it's one of the ones that like especially after coming off of Superman, it's the main like problem, but also good thing about James Gunn so far. As much as I'm not putting shade on James Gunn, I love what he's done so far, but it's just the main thing is because he works well with Guardians, which are teams. There's a lot of characters in Superman and a lot of characters in Supergirl, and so like he works well with a lot of characters. Like he does well with a lot of characters, and it's just like especially with this one, like you were saying with the trailers, it did like when you watched it, it seemed like Guardians-y because it is like a lot of space, and he is probably going forward like he done with Guardians. We get like a random team thing, even though we got Creature Commandos before, but like someone that are like the equivalent of the Guardians, but in like DC. I wouldn't be surprised if randomly you just see that project just get like pulled up front, and James Gunn be like, "Oh, this is the new thing," because like with his whole like DCU is kind of odd, and like he isn't doing it how like to compare it to the MCU. Of course, they at least for the first like phase, it was like superheroes, then massive team film to end it off, and then like going forward. But with this so far, it's going like character, then other character that are somewhat connected, and then in August we're getting a Lantern series, which is connected to then a movie that comes out in 2027. And so it's like it's kind of here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
But hopefully it leads to some sort of film.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I think is like, you know, the aesthetic of the films or like the projects are very different from each other. But, you know, like you can see like Supergirl's costume is very much similar. You know, obviously they've had to keep some designs. So like for the Kryptonians, they have that. But then like the other heroes that we've seen so far is like the Justice Gang, if you will. They are pretty much corporate and they got jackets. But we haven't seen a proper like superhero outfit apart from Superman. And I'm like, with lanterns, what we've seen is, and I think this is definitely going to be a topic on its own. It's like, so far we haven't seen what the Green Lantern outfit looks, and then we've seen glimpses of it, and it's not green. And I think it's like, oh, what's going on? And like, I know the Lantern show is going to be about like different lanterns, kind of like aspect, and you know, you have like, you know, Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. That's going to be the storyline of that show, and it seems like it's going to be maybe each season is a different lanterns. Who knows? But the aesthetic of the DCU is not confirmed, but it also, like you said, you were talking about like Guardians esque and like how, oh, we've got a random ragtag group of people, and it's like I do get that with like the Justice Gang because it's like, yeah, whoa, why are they here? Um, but I guess it's like, oh, in a world where there's superheroes that exist, which I do like that they set up that superheroes have been existing throughout time, and like you see that mural on the Hall of Justice, and it's like, oh, you got like Wildcat and so many other characters that like, oh, these are iconic DC characters, and I think we know from like Superman Man of Tomorrow, we're gonna get like John Stewart is gonna be in that film, so we know he's gonna be Green Lantern by the end of Lanterns, so we're gonna see that. Hawk Girl is returning. There's rumors of like Vixen showing up, so like they're bringing other characters in, and I don't mind it because in the superhero universe, I think one of the things I don't like about Marvel films is that it feels very secluded unless it's a character coming from another film. But when you're introducing characters, it's good, but also, like with James Gunn, he has like he makes sure that they're not like too distracting. Unless with this film, obviously it's not James Gunn who made it, but the fact that Lobo's in here and he feels like a glorified cameo and doesn't really do much to the storyline of the film. Whereas like the Justice Gang makes sense, if you know what I mean. Like they're there because they're the corporate versions of heroes that the public accept. Whereas Superman, he's more of like people love him, but there's also people who don't love him because he's an alien sort of situation. And then Display Once, aka Rich M. The comic book is great, he says, but the film is not. So there you go. So, Rich is someone who's read the comic and I can understand, yeah. And I brought this image up. So this is Krem, the main villain, who pretty much feels like so like they've made him different. I'll say this because this is what he looks like in the comic. Let me see if I can get a better shot. There you go. He looks like the actor without the makeup. So, and he's a different type of character. He's more of like I think what he is like more of like a swashbuckler or like a warrior type kind of situation. Whereas in the film, he's more like he's a bandit like you'd see from Guardians. And I think that's one of the weirdest takes that they did for this film. Like rather than have him like look like the thing is, like, people have said that Krem is a boring character anyway, but to have him look like a bootleg Hellraiser character or, a bootleg Guardians, bandit sort of situation. And, like, I did like his whole voice thing, how he's got a voice box. And all of a sudden he had kryptonite, like, weapons. So I was like, oh, somehow he had that to fight Supergirl with. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. It works. Just to put, like, when he's fighting Supergirl at the end and like, oh yeah, what did you think of like the whole planet where it's like got a blue sun and a yellow sun? Was it cool to see, or like did you think it could have been done better, like in terms of aesthetic? Like, because it's cool to see a planet that has two suns, but it's like it looked a bit dreary. I don't know if that's a good word to it, but
I didn't know what to think about it. I was like, okay, because like the thing is, like you were saying, like the main problems is I don't really like know about like a lot of DC lore, so I don't know whether there is an actual planet that has two suns or this, that, and the other. And I don't know enough. But then just instantly when it changed to green, I was like, oh shit, Supergirl's about to get done or something, because it was just like, and it just seemed like an easy way just to, like, it's just an easy way to make her weak, like an easy way just to make her feel a bit weak, get a bit more runtime and put out a little bit more. But like you were saying about the Krem design, I'm one of the people that, even though of course I haven't really read the comic book, but I I kind of I liked how he looked. I thought he looked really cool in
Yeah.
the film. Like I don't know why, but I mean, I don't know if it's just all like the piercings and the armor and the voice and the massive like axe, but I just thought he looked kind of cool. Um, and it is kind of funny that the actor does look like him,
Yeah.
without any makeup on. So I don't know whether they cast him originally to play more of the comic book character and then last minute changed it to this version, which I
Mm.
could see them maybe they may have done it. Um, but at the same time, it just follows the whole thing of like, you had the comic book right there,
Yeah.
like, and most likely, I know at least I can't really speak for everyone, but I know that Rich he said that he wasn't fond of the film too much, but liked the comic book, and like I can't speak for him, but I'm assuming that if they done a 1-to-1 representation of the comic book, he would have like been out of the cinema like way happier than he was,
Yeah.
and they could have done it, and just the fact that what you said where the main guy on the film hadn't even read the comic book, and it's just like I get like he maybe didn't need to because it wasn't the comic book, but when you watch it and when you like bring up certain panels and when you put everything into consideration, it is practically the comic book, but then they've just like it's kind of just like someone like a little kid has grabbed a comic book and just ripped pages out of it because
Mm.
they're bored or something. Like that literally basically seems like what the movie is that someone's grabbed your Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book and ripped a couple pages out of it and said, "Here you go. Here's what you have left, and this is what the film is." That's what it seems like to me. Um,
Yeah.
but like it
See,
just it
what?
look it was decent as it is.
Mm.
Like the whole the comic book is, and it is a thing that because Superman was like really bright. Like
Mm.
that was awesome, and this is like fairly bright in certain aspects, but it's just the case with certain superhero films that I know that people complain about them being a bit grey. I wouldn't say that this was that grey because there was some bright things, but it's just the case that how like how visually pleasing the comic book is annoying, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the thing. So like when they announced this film, that's how they announced it. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So it was like when you start off like that, and then when you see the like when you first see the trailer, and then when you see the film, it's like, they should have just done a full adaptation of the story and embrace the aesthetic of the story, like the colors. Like you don't see Supergirl's outfit damaged. Like you look at this shot, and she's like, A, her cape is hella long, but B, there's blood. There's not a lot of like this film didn't have a lot of blood, and I don't know if it was meant to like keep the PG rating or whatever rating it is to keep it that way so that they don't hit that kind of like certain aspect. And I wish like because I get what when you have to market a film, you do need to like if you are kind of doing a storyline, you can't really if it does have adult themes or it has more blood and that stuff because it's always the case with adaptations. If you're doing a 1-to-1, then you have to make sure the rating is correct with the storyline. But then when you have to reduce that, then you do have to have cutaways when when people are killed or whatever. Like one of I think it didn't mean to be funny, but when Ruth's like brother is killed, like when I saw the sneak peek, it looked like he got killed like while he tried to like attack the guy, but in the film he just goes boo and then he just dies, and I'm like that was I didn't it didn't mean to be funny, but it was funny, and I was like I was laughing, and I was just like what the hell, and I think like I do agree like they try and make him more menacing as a villain, and like it worked, and he did his purpose. I do wish we did have him more in the film rather than like pretty much like most of his scenes were kind of like because they had to add Lobo in, it kind of took away of him being like a villain kind of situation. Like he's there for I feel like Lobo's in there more than this guy. And like the first shot of him is like menacing, and then you're like, okay, can we see more? And I feel like when you see those comic panels, you're like, you see him monologue more, and he's more chatty. Whereas in the film, he's less. And then, obviously, one of the biggest changes in the film is compared to the comic is that Supergirl kills him, and I felt that was wrong. Like he didn't need to die, and like his whole thing was like, oh, Ruth was on the verge of like, oh, I need to kill this guy because he killed killed my family and that stuff. But the whole story is like, no, Ruth, don't go into your anger. But then like Supergirl does it, and you're like, what? And she does use the sword for that action, but otherwise, when you see that panel of her like with the sword raised up and everything, it's not shown. I don't know, like this film just feels like it's okay, but it could have been better. That is the case. Like Supergirl's great in this, but everything else is like surrounding her doesn't support her. I think like apart from like the Krypton scenes, which were great to see in like live action, because Krypton's kind of usually brushed past. Like there's scenes like in like Man of Steel where they do show Krypton more, like that whole beginning scene where you see Krypton's like destruction, Jor-El, and that stuff. That's the only compliment I'll give that film. Everything else, utter trash. I can't wait to do the DC ranking movies. But yeah, like I think this film was definitely like, it feels like a film where you're grabbing a bunch of your action figures together and trying to do something. Like you're trying to make a scene, but then it's like maybe you've got too much in there, and the main character that it's a part of isn't the focus. Like obviously there is focus of Supergirl, but when you got so many like I think clashing things, it doesn't work. I think like Lobo being in there, for example, like he could have been just a cool cameo, and then he goes off, but then he's there for quite a long time. I know I just said like, oh, he's only there for 5 minutes, but then like he does show up to like thwart Krem, which I felt like I don't know if that kind of like lessens Supergirl's like fight with him, because it is supposed to be Supergirl versus Krem and Ruth as well. But then Lobo shows up and he's like, yeah, boy, like he's there to like kick ass, and then he just leaves. I'm like, and he does that weird nod. Remember, like he's like, after like Supergirl's killed Krem, and he's just like, and then he rides off to the sunlight. I'm like, that's weird. That's weird. I feel like that's the biggest. That's the theme of this film. It's weird. It's weird, but it's not as bad as people are saying. But it could have been improved a lot. Like, and that's what I think. Like, what are your final remarks on Supergirl, like the film wise?
It's just the case that I've said it before. You had a thing there. You could have done it way better. It's happened now, and like, of course, it got a lot of backlash. Like you said, I don't think it deserved as much backlash as it did, because I've heard that it done worse than Morbius opening weekend, and to me, it just seems crazy the fact that this is the second film in the DCU to set up this hopefully bigger DC universe going forward, and the fact it's not making more than Morbius is crazy. And so like I don't know whether that's just people's relationship with DC. I don't know. But I'm gonna watch everything that comes out. But like as a film, like I'll give my ranking out of 10 just to end it off. For me, for starters, Superman was a 9, if not 10 out of 10, personally. I know the 10 out of 10 is like a lot, but for me, I love that film so much. And Supergirl, I would say at least 6.5 to 7, I would say. I still enjoyed it. It weren't as good. It weren't as good as Superman. Definitely weren't. But I wouldn't give it anything below that because I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. It just wasn't what maybe I would have wanted.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, I do think there's a big kind of like, there's a lot of people who are just like, misogynists who don't like the film or are just shitting on the film of Supergirl. But I think, if you're actually looking at the film, have watched it, and, I think Supergirl is great in the film. It's just the story isn't the biggest thing that should be like, it should be the great thing, but it isn't. But like Supergirl, like Millie Alcott's performance is great, and like, can't complain about that. And like you said, Superman was such a great film, and then we get like this kind of like standalone story. I feel like it's like how Marvel's shows recently have been like, or like they're kind of like, there's some aspects that are good, and then they're pretty much summed up when that character shows up in the movie, and you're like, oh, so then really did we need to watch that whole series just to be like, hey, yeah, we have these characters now? But yeah, it just, I think I would personally give it like maybe a yeah, I think same situation, 6 or 5 out of 10. It's got decent storyline, and like we've said, Supergirl amazing. If you're a Lobo fan, you'll kind of enjoy it, but you'll also be like, I kind of wanted more, but also, did he really need to be there? Kind of thing. But yeah, and obviously the two, like Ruth and Kreb, could have been done better, but not. This is not a fault on the actors. This is just story wise, like, could have been given a little bit more, or like been a more faithful adaptation. I think that's the main takeaway. But that's pretty much it. We did lose Zion, but that's okay. But just wanted to thank you all for tuning in, to this Supergirl discussion. And obviously we did toy news, so that was a big highlight. Transform the Mysterious Prime. Peak. But there you go. So let's get out of here. So Ashwan, where can the lovely people find you?
Ashwan231 on Instagram, where I post about my comics and stuff, but I don't tend to post too much, rather than bits and bobs. Ashwan231 comics on YouTube, where I post weekly comic videos. Don't really post anything else other than the comic videos, so doing that. I may at some point put some other stuff on there, but mostly just going to keep it to the weekly comic video just because it works and it keeps me in a nice like timetable and keeps me busy, so going to keep doing that. But of course, you can find me here every week. Of course, today it will be a Friday, maybe next week it will be a Saturday, maybe the week after it will be a Wednesday, but most likely every Saturday. Just we had to do it Friday this week just because it was a bit of a change, but we'll always have the Gen Z report up every week no matter what. But stay tuned for next week because it could be a pretty good one. But of course, you can find me on Dan Who Reviews Legends and Liquor, which of course is this weekend. I'll be in Group 2. I don't know whether the rest of the Gen Z report will follow me there, but I will be there in Group 2. And so stay tuned, watch that. Couple hours, we'll be talking toy news, pickups, and maybe some other bits and bobs. But other than that, of course, the extra show every Thursday, so become a member, guys, because you can see mine and Z-Man's pretty faces.
Perfect. And I'd love to, I want to show, obviously everyone go subscribe to, let me show that, there we go. Go subscribe to Ashwan231 Comics, always doing great comic pickups. So make sure you tune into that. And obviously, go to his Instagram, give him a follow. Come on, people. Yeah, exactly. So there we go. And of course, you lovely people, and like, Legends of Liquor is always a packed night, so everyone tune into that, especially this week. We're going to be Everyone's going to be talking about SCCC as that is slowly approaching. But of course, you lovely people can find me always here on the Gen Z report. You can always see me, Zion, and Ashwan together, and sometimes the agent in training, as you saw, Virtual Dave, and obviously, big shout out to Combat Collector, aka Big Will, for doing the graphics. But there you go. If you want to make, subscribe to my channel, there you go. We're at 225. Pretty good. But make sure you hit that like, share this video, subscribe, all that nonsense. But of course, you can also find me on Instagram, agent_Zman, and I will also be appearing on the Legends and Liquor Group 2 for life, baby. And hopefully we'll see Zion there. And obviously you can go follow Zion's page. So let me see if I can get him here. I do have his Insta here. So make sure you go follow him, as he's doing some great photography or like posing. So make sure you do check him out. So let me see. There we go. There you go. Go check him out. And yeah, without further ado, that's us. Good night, everybody. Or good morning for us. See ya.
You requested.
The Gen Z Report, your weekly dose of awesome.
Toys and comics.
Covering all the topics, week in, week out. That's what it's all about.
The only source you need.
The Gen Z Report.
Gen Z Report.
Gen Z Report.
Ashwan, Zion, Z-Man.